Howdy, with this video, want to go over the schedule real quickly, then go over the self-regulated learner essay. Make sure you understand what I'm looking for there. To go over the schedule real quickly, I'm doing this video on Tuesday, September 7th. For Thursday the 9th, the final version of the descriptive paragraph is due. You should be taking the version I sent back to you with my commentary, making your revisions based on my commentary, and seeing, making sure there's no any other errors I may have missed. And then submitting that final version of the descriptive paragraph for grading on Thursday. Also, journals number 3 and 4 are due. These are going to get us ready for the self-regulated learner essay, and we'll go look at those real quick. Again, you're trying to get to 125 words, at least, basically as fast as you can. You want to make sure you get to 125 words with each entry. There's no averaging out or anything like that. You can always go over the word count, just don't go under. But you want to show me you've read the prompt and then kind of move as fast as you can, still writing legibly, and show me you read the prompt and thought about it. The first one, number 3, is a short essay by Kurt Weisenfeld called Making the Grade. He's kind of complaining about his students grade grubbing a little bit, kind of being a little snotty there. He acts like there was no grade grubbing back in the day, right? There were plenty of grade grubbing. I engaged in it once in a while, too, when I really wanted a different grade. But he's making some points there and kind of talking about students and how some of them behave. Again, he's talking about a small percentage of students for the most part. But I want to kind of see your reaction. Surprising how many students agree with him sometimes. Number 4, you're going to read a self-regulated alert. It's actually some research done for one of our projects at Northeast State called Self-Regulated Learning. Kind of want you to go through it and kind of see how accurate you think the ideas are. It's not the most exciting thing to read, but it's very interesting. It's talking about what makes a good student and how it's not an accident. The students that engage in certain behaviors tend to be more successful. And you're going to see that this reading here is where we're basing our self-regulated learner essay on. But those two are due on Thursday as well. And let's go back to the schedule, I guess. After that, for next week, next Monday, I want to see the first 2 paragraphs of your self-regulated learner essay. It's hard to say, actually. I probably want to assign exercises from the Actions text yet. Hopefully, you're starting to look at that yourself if I'm complaining about comma splices or things like sentence structures or agreement. That book covers that. It does a good job of giving a pretty good basic explanation of what the concern is and how it shows you how to fix them, and also gives you some exercises with the answers in the back of the book, so you can work on these on your own a little bit. Again, not an exciting thing to do, but the sooner you fix these problems in your writing, the better your grade gets, right? But I just want to see the first 2 paragraphs, making sure you're on the right track, not getting snagged on anything. And then for next Thursday, the 16th, I want to see the full draft of the self-regulated learner essay. By then, I should have your descriptive paragraph graded. You're going to revise that one more time, and eventually we're going to put that in a D2L e-portfolio. But the big part is getting that full draft of the self-regulated learner essay due, all 4 paragraphs on next Thursday. I'll take a look at that, send those back to you, and once again, you'll revise them and submit them for the final version here on Monday the 20th. And then we're going to start the next essay, and just going to see that recursive process. Recursive meaning we kind of repeat the same process over and over of pre-writing, particularly with the journals, of drafting, where I kind of look at your draft as you're working on it. Then you're going to submit the essay, and we're going to revise and edit it and submit it for a grade. Then after we get it graded, going to revise it one more time, put it in an e-portfolio, and we're going to repeat that process 4 times throughout the semester. With the essays obviously getting a little more complicated as we go. But for the self-regulated learner essay, this is up there on the content page. I want you to write a 550-word minimum 4-paragraph essay that analyzes any 2 of the profile points of a self-regulated learner as they apply to you. And again, those are coming directly from journal number 4, and I got them listed down there on the assignment sheet as well. You can pick points that you become successful at doing, points that you need to work on. You can do one of each. Generally, that makes for a better essay. You kind of say, I'm good at this, but I kind of need to work on this. If you just kind of stay down on yourself, say, I'm just horrible at these 2 things, it kind of gets to be kind of a depressing essay in some ways. But you're going to be focused on your experiences with the points and what specific efforts you have made, could make or need to make to become a better self-regulated learner. There's a brief explanation here. You can read faster than I can talk. I'm not going to read that to you. And plus, you're going to read this in that journal number 4 as well. But self-regulated learner is just basically what we define as a good student, or a student who's engaging in the proper techniques to be a good student. Your essay should meet the following guidelines. The first 3 paragraphs should be at least 150 words. Your concluding paragraph, that should be the 4th paragraph, sorry there, should be at least 100 words. Therefore, the entire essay should be 550 words. Should have that figurative language in there, and we'll talk about that here in a second. No you or it. No research for this essay. This should be focused on your experiences. And as you go through the points, like any healthy human being, you're probably good at some of these and maybe not so good at others. But are you good at being aware of your personal strengths and weaknesses? People who aren't can run into some problems, right? Are you intrinsically motivated to learn? It's going to let me highlight. There it goes. That can be a problem. Not every student wants to sit down and write a self-regulated learner essay, right? How do you get yourself motivated? Can you make yourself kind of see the big picture and say, if I become a better writer, I'll be a better person. I'll get better jobs. Or do you struggle with that? Are you good at planning and organizing your work? If all your assignments are getting shuffled back and forth on the floor bed of your truck as you go around the corner because you just throw all your stuff at the bottom on the floorboard, you may have a problem with organizing your work and keeping track of it, right? Students who keep binders, who keep everything organized, who can tell you exactly where their assignment is and what's coming due in the every day for the next 2 weeks, those are generally going to be more successful students. I can struggle with that sometimes. I like to try and keep it all in my head, then I don't know where it goes after that. But you kind of just want to kind of go through and pick the 2 you want to work with. You get at controlling your learning environment. I have 3 teenagers in my house right now. A lot of yelling and screaming and drama. It can be kind of hard to do what I need to get done, right? I have to figure out a way to control my learning environment and reduce those distractions. I'm good at adjusting strategies, attributing failure to ineffective strategies. That's one I really struggle with. I'll do the same thing over and over and just get madder and madder and madder and madder. It still doesn't work, and so I get a bigger hammer. And generally, one of my kids ends up going like, "Why don't you just do this?" And I'm like, "Shut up!" Right? Because I'm so frustrated because I'm not changing my strategies. I'm just doing the same thing over and over. You get at seeking help and asking questions. Very important, particularly in an internet course. If you're somebody who'll just go down with the ship without asking a question, need to change that, right? And as you think about these, it's not just being a good student, it's being a good employee. If you ever worked with someone who won't ask for help when they're struggling, I used to work in restaurants, and if somebody wasn't, just kind of went down and got into the weeds, and then you had to go bail them out. It's like, why didn't you say something at the beginning? You could have, saved us all a lot of extra work. And the same thing. If you're going to be a nurse, you want an unorganized work who just comes in and just says, well, here, I think this is your medication. Try this. You're going to be like, I want a nurse with a little more organization, right? So it's not just about being a student, and that's probably what you're going to get into in your conclusion. If you're going to be a welder, you don't want to get all the way up to the top of the tower to do your welding and realize you left half your equipment at the bottom, right? You want to be organized and have a good plan before you get up there and do your climbing. And it applies to all professions, right? But that's what we're going to get into. The first paragraph is going to be your introduction paragraph. How do I get? Hold on here. I got myself a little lost. Here, I need to be here. You're going to see a sample essay up there on the content page. Let me go and pull that up. It's under essay projects. Sample self-regulated learner essay. I'm going to download that. I'll open it. And you're going to start seeing with these sample essays the commentary on the side. And the first paragraph, you're going to introduce yourself as a student. It's going to be the introduction paragraph. That's going to be something new to us. Last time we just did the descriptive paragraph. You just kind of did a 1 sentence introduction and got into the paragraph. Here you want to kind of introduce yourself as a student. Have you been successful in the past? I was not a very successful high school student. I just did well enough to keep my mother off my back and keep my driver's license. It didn't pay off when I went to college the first time either. But here she's going to tell you about why she's a good student, right? I'm currently a student at Sullivan Central High School. This was a dual enrollment student. and doing up, saying, I'm a pretty good high school student. I'm in all these clubs. I'm involved in the school. I got a plan, and she's kind of telling us why she's a pretty good self-regulated learner. Um, Sometimes I'll complain a little bit. She's kind of using to be verbs like are and is a little too much maybe, but I want some action verbs in there. But she's introducing herself, and then she's going to tie this into being a self-regulated learner, and then give us her thesis statement. And the thesis statement's in one sentence that's going to tell us what your essay is about. For this particular essay, I want to see both profile points given in the thesis. So here, as a self-regulated learner, I become successful at planning and organizing my work and controlling the learning environment around me to reduce distractions. So we know she's going to talk about two good things she's good at. One's going to be planning and organizing, and one's going to be controlling her learning environment. So it's very clear what the essay is going to cover. Again, this is going to be a 4-paragraph essay. You're going to have 2 body paragraphs, a paragraph on each one of these profile points. So as you're looking at those profile points, make sure you're thinking in terms of, I got to get a paragraph out of this, right? But she's going to talk about planning and organizing her work and giving very good details about how she does that, right? Good students generally have a planner, and there she starts talking about that planner. It's probably color-coded, and there she's getting into exactly how she does her organization and why it works for her. Could use a little more development about how she organizes her upcoming tests and exams, maybe. But pretty good paragraph telling us how she organizes and how she plans and organizes her work. The next paragraph is going to talk about her environment. Again, as you're doing this, make sure you have good figurative language in here. In other words, you want to come alive a little bit. Don't just say you have a messy desk or my environment's loud. Tell us, what does it sound like? My environment's so loud, herd of elephants wouldn't hear us coming, right? But she goes through the paragraph. I'm not going to read this to you. Again, you can read faster than I can talk. But she goes through it and gives pretty good detail, telling us how she how she controls her learning environment to reduce distractions, and giving us good examples of that. And that's what you want to do in these paragraphs. You want to give good examples and develop those examples. Use good figurative language to make the essay kind of fun to read. Then in the concluding paragraph, you kind of want to bring this out to the big picture. Is this going to help you with all your classes? Is it going to help you in your career? And the odds are probably yes. Will this help you in your home life? When my wife and I aren't organized, the house tends to fall into chaos, and bad things start happening, especially with all the kids. So this is just something that you can apply not just to being a good student, but to being a good employee and to being effective in your life overall. Also, I think that's all I wanted to say, actually. But pretty good sample essay. Can maybe use a little more development in that second paragraph, but following the basic outline of the essay, following that 4-paragraph essay format, and completing the assignment as it's given there. So kind of good place to start. Obviously, everybody's essay is going to be a little bit different. Most of you are not dual enrollment students, so your introduction paragraph is going to be a little different from this, which is perfectly fine. Mine would be a lot different because my high school and my first attempt at college were not very successful, but eventually I learned some of these skills, and my second time at college was much more successful. If you have any questions about this, be sure to let me know. Again, where did the schedule go? There we go. Not sure how we got up there, but we'll get back to the schedule. Starting off with the journal entries on Thursday. Then I want to see the first 2 paragraphs on Monday. Make sure you're on the right track there. See if you have any questions. And then hopefully the full draft will come in on Thursday the 16th, and we'll take a look at the full essay, offer commentary on that, and then the final version will be due on the 20th. If you have any questions, again, this is going to be a 4-paragraph essay. I'll try and go back and change that assignment. I said 5 on one point. But it's a 4-paragraph essay there. But we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.